If your friends have you partaking in behavior that you know doesn't align with you, those are not your people, period. Hey guys, it is Flexi Lexi here, and we are back with another episode of the SoulFULL Circle Podcast. I am super excited for today. I have a lot on my heart that I'm excited to share with you guys, and today we're going to talk about friendship. I have a lot that I've kind of experienced with friends over the years, and I feel like I have a nice little bit of knowledge that I can share. So I'm excited for today. I think it's going to be a really great episode. So let's just get right into it. Just to give you a brief little overview of what we plan to talk about today. We're going to talk about why friendship and community is important, because some people feel like you don't need friends or you don't need to be in community. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about how I view friendships as far as a circle, SoulFULL Circle. And we're going to talk about what to do when you start outgrowing your friends. And we're going to talk about different kinds of friendships, like lifelong friendships as well. So I'm excited for today. I think it's going to be a nice episode. So let's just get into it. First of all, why do you need friendship? Why do you need community? So I know in our day and age, there's a lot of people who have this perspective, like no new friends. And a lot of people tend to self-isolate, especially I feel like in the Black community or just people of color in general. A lot of times when we start going through hard times, we don't want to burden other people with our problems. And we feel like the most productive and healthy thing for us to do is to isolate ourselves until we get better. I know I am guilty of that sometimes, but I have come to realize that that is not the best approach. It's actually counterproductive to your mental health. At least for, I don't know, I guess it depends on the person. I know that there's been certain times where I'm in a period of isolation and a friend calls me and I realize that I really don't need to isolate because there are people who have similar things going on as me. And to the same token, sometimes when, just speaking from my own experience, when I start self-isolating, I don't realize that there are people who love me and there are people who rely on me and they don't want me to be in isolation. They want me to feel better. They want to pour into me. They want to help me. And they might even be going through similar things so we can kind of, go through it together. Like I don't have to go through anything alone. And that's something I've realized over time. So friendship is definitely important. And when we look at our history, specifically speaking to the Black community right now, our ancestors survived slavery through community. If they weren't able to lean on each other, they wouldn't have made it, period. And that's something that I kind of think about a lot. So it is important to know who your community is. And if you don't feel like you have a strong sense of community, you should find one. And we're going to talk a little bit more about like some different ways that you can build community and just be a more productive member of society as well. So that's great. But overall, friendship is something that shouldn't be taken lightly. I think that friendship is something that you have to nurture, just like you would kind of take extra steps to nurture a romantic relationship. Sometimes you have to look at your friendships in the same way. You have to create space for other people in your life. You have to be willing to do the work to be a good friend so that when you need one, you will have one. You have to be willing to check in with your friends. You have to be open to being vulnerable, because that's a very big thing. A lot of people are not comfortable being vulnerable with others. A lot of people use their negative past experiences and sometimes use that as a reason to not get close to other people. But I think that there is real beauty in vulnerability and being open to sharing the most intimate parts of yourself with another person platonically. There's real beauty in that. So that is kind of the way I view friendships. And I think that there are lots of different kinds of friendships. So just kind of segueing into what I call the friendship circle. So the friendship circle is something, and I've heard other people talk about this as well in other ways, but the way that I view the friendship circle is kind of like a dartboard. So when you think about what a dartboard looks like, you have a circle, and then you have a circle inside of that, and then you have the bullseye, the innermost circle that's in the middle. So in my opinion, friendship is like that. So on your outermost circle of your friendship dartboard, those are the people who you kind of know from in passing. Those are more like associates, maybe people that you see at events from time to time, but you don't know them like all that well, but y'all cool, you know. Maybe these are like mutual friends, like maybe friends that you kind of know through other people. Maybe these are people that you wouldn't necessarily invite over to your house, but you know, they cool. Like you'll go kick it with them. You guys can party together, whatever the case may be. That is your outer circle. And you can kind of, you know, think about maybe even your coworkers are in your outer circle, or maybe they're in the next circle. So your next circle, I don't know. Before I even get into that, I don't know how I feel about coworkers. See, I kind of learned the hard way. Sometimes your coworkers are not really your friends. Sometimes they are. It really just depends on the situation. It depends on the person. But in the next circle, those are your good friends. So these are people that maybe were your friends from like back in the day, and you don't really see them like that anymore. You're kind of like long distance friends. Maybe you guys see each other like once a year, maybe a few times a year, whatever the case may be. Maybe these are people that you would kind of invite over to your house like in group settings, maybe not one-on-one. Maybe if you're throwing like a party or something, they can come by, but they can't come in your room, you know. Like those are, maybe they're people that you went to college with or like high school, and they're just still there, you know. Like they're not people that you talk to necessarily every day anymore, maybe not people that you call yourself being like close to, but they still exist. Y'all still show each other love. That would be the next circle. Now the bullseye, your close personal circle, that circle is supposed to be the smallest. These are your day ones. These are the people that you are the closest to. You hang out with them all the time. Maybe they're your best friends. Maybe they're your family who is like your friends, or maybe not, because sometimes you gotta put family on the outer circles as well. But basically your innermost circle are the closest people to you. These are the people that you would call on, like if you were going through a crisis, whatever issue you might be having. These are the people that you call when you're in those periods of isolation. Those are the people that can sense it. Hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. What's going on with you? Like, they know you. You know them. Those are your main squeezes. So that's the way that I view friendship. And I've run into situations in the past where I kind of had people in the wrong places. Like I had people that were really supposed to be in my outer circle, or my like second to the outer circle, and I'm trying to put them in my close circle, or vice versa. I might have had people in my outermost circles, or my, you know, inner circle, not my close circle, but like my inner circle, that I should be dedicating more time to so that they can be in my inner circle, but I'm distracted. So, you know, it really just depends. And I am constantly reevaluating the people who are in my life. I am constantly reevaluating where people are on my friendship dartboard, I'm constantly upgrading and downgrading people accordingly. So that's something that I've realized and that I've kind of learned the hard way throughout time. But once I started viewing friendship as kind of like a dartboard circle, it really helped me put things into perspective. And it helped me to not, I guess, put so much pressure on people, but also it just helped me kind of realize that some people, like, you don't have to necessarily cut them off, but maybe you just need to put them in a different circle. And that's that. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. Additionally, a really touchy subject is like when you start outgrowing your friends. So maybe you have people, let's talk about that are in your innermost circle right now, and you're kind of realizing that you don't really align with those people anymore. That's okay. That's really okay. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, especially if these are people that you've known for years and years, like maybe people you went to school with, or, you just known them for a while. And as we grow, we change. Life changes. We all have stuff going on. Some people have kids. Some people are building businesses. Some people have like sick family members that they have to take care of. Some people are sick themselves. Like, everybody has different stuff going on. And when you put that into the perspective of friendship, sometimes your friendships change. And that's okay. I've had times where people that I was really, really close to at one point, we kind of started growing apart, whether it's like they kind of stopped talking to me or I stopped talking to them. And it can be really challenging, but I think the important thing to keep in mind is just that you don't have to maintain connections with people who you don't feel aligned with. It's not the end of the world. Loyalty does not have to mean that you're sacrificing your values and your mental health and who you are, because everyone's journey is their journey. But you have to know yourself. You have to know what's important to you and what your values are and what you're willing to stand for and what you're not willing to stand for. And personally, if your friends have you partaking in behavior that you know doesn't align with you, those are not your people, period. Or if your friends just in their own life are partaking in behavior that doesn't align with you, you don't have to deal with it, especially if it becomes detrimental to you or if it can lead you into a bad situation. Then it's time to build some new connections. And when you start to kind of reevaluate the connections that are in your life and the friendships that you have, and if you find that there's people that you need to downgrade or completely cut off, that only opens up room for you to meet new people and for you to build new, genuine relationships. And that's something that is important. Now, when it comes to making friends as an adult, it can be challenging. I'll admit, it can be. And I'll even throw in, especially as an entrepreneur, because sometimes it can be hard to tell if somebody is just trying to like be a business contact with you or if they are actually trying to build a friendship with you. That can be hard to navigate. I've had situations where I couldn't really tell the difference. I'm thinking that somebody is trying to be my friend, but it turns out they really just want to be like a business colleague. And honestly, that's okay too. But I think that's where that friendship dartboard comes in mind. And it just is about like evaluating everyone around you. That's something that's important. But if somebody is actually trying to build a genuine friendship with you, that's a beautiful thing. And again, you just have to be open to it. You have to be okay with being vulnerable. You have to dedicate time to like kick it with that person and just get to know them one-on-one. And sometimes things get busy, especially in our lives and with everything going on in the world. But again, it's just the same as you would look at a romantic relationship, except it's platonic. So yeah, but there are like so many different ways that you can go about making new friends as an adult. Go to some networking events. go to parties, go to social events, invite people to go grocery shopping with you, or like to go to the laundromat with you. Just find alternative ways to hang out with people. My new thing lately has been going for walks. I've always loved a good walk, but I've been inviting people to just go for a walk with me. Like, let's just go for a walk. Let's just walk around. It doesn't cost any money. There are plenty of beautiful parks around Detroit area. The weather is getting warmer. Health is important. Let's go outside and just walk around. And those have honestly resulted in some really great friendships with me, because we spend this is probably going to be a whole nother podcast episode, but a lot of the time that we spend in social outings is centered around like unhealthy food and unhealthy drinks and things that are bad for you. So, go to the gym. Let's walk around. Like, let's just keep it simple. And that way you can really get to know a person as well. So just some different ways that you can build community and people. Join some networking groups. I don't know how you feel about, the Greek life, maybe joining a sorority or a fraternity, if that would help you build community as well, brotherhood or sisterhood. Do it. Who knows what it could lead to. But whatever you have to do to build that sense of community, even if it's like online friendships, now you got to be careful with that one. But sometimes you meet people online that you can build friendships with through shared interests. Be open to friendships with people who are maybe different ages than you. Got to be careful with that one as well. But honestly, a lot of people that I've been connecting with lately are like older than me. And that's okay. I mean, I just find that I have a lot in common with these people, and I have a lot of big sisters now that have been there for me through a lot of challenges that I've dealt with in the past few months. And they're important to me. They know they can call on me. I know I can call on them if I'm feeling some type of way. And that's that. And then the same with like people that's younger than you. Maybe you are building friendships with people younger than you. As long as you have shared interests and values with these people, I don't think it matters. Even like your family can be your friends as well. I have a lot of cousins that are like my best friends, and sometimes that works better for people than being out in the world trying to, navigate everyone. But sometimes family can do their dance as well, but definitely family can be like friends to you. So just some different kind of friendships and some different kind of things that I found have worked for me and other people as well. And additionally, I just want to talk about the blessing of having lifelong friends, because that is something that's so rare, y'all. If you have people in your life who you have known since you were a kid, since like elementary, middle, high school, even college, depending on if you went to college or if you still keep in touch with people from college, but those friendships are so important. It's just a beautiful thing to not have to explain like your backstory to people. When people like understand your family and kind of how they operate. And the thing about lifelong friendships is they can change over time. But if you know that you're really locked in with somebody and you don't have to question it, that is such an underrated blessing. Even if you or them has moved to a different state, but at the end of the day, that's still your sis or your bro, and you can call on them. When you guys link up, it's gonna be like nothing changed. It's gonna be like there's no distance. I love that. I love those types of friendships. My dad had a friend that he grew up with on the same block. My dad is like years old now, but his best friend from back in the day, they grew up together. I think they knew each other since they were like in grade school, and they were able to see each other go through everything. They went from just two little kids on the block to going to high school together, going to different colleges. They both got married and started families. And then when they had kids, me and my brother and my dad's best friend and his kids, we all would like travel together sometimes. And it was super cute. they were friends literally till the end. I'm almost getting emotional thinking about it, but that was my Uncle Mark. He passed away a few years ago. Well, it's been a little while now. Rest in peace. But they were friends forever. Like, when Uncle Mark was getting sick, my dad would go and visit him at the hospital and just kind of make sure that he was with him literally till the end. That is so rare these days, I feel like. And it's just a blessing that they were able to experience that. And that inspires me. And honestly, that's not everyone's story, but it's just important to evaluate who really has your back and who doesn't, because you don't want to be around the wrong people for too long. You want people who are really going to hold you accountable, who are going to pour into you, and you know that you can do the same with them. You want people who are going to be open and honest with you at all times, and not just yes man or no man, or got you out here looking crazy just because they can't tell you the truth. Absolutely not. You don't want friendships that are just solely transactional, just based off of what you can do for them or what they can do for you, because that is not real friendship in my opinion. So yeah, I love the friendship that my dad had with his best friend. And yeah, I just think about it a lot. So that honestly is kind of all that I have as far as what was on my heart to discuss with you guys about friendship. Just to kind of reiterate what we talked about the importance of community in general and building friendships and why they're beneficial and why you should not self-isolate. We talked about the friendship circle and kind of what it means. You have your innermost circle, you have your circle outside of that, which is like good friends, close friends, but not like best friends. And then you have your outer circle, which is like associates, colleagues from passing, whatever. And just knowing when to downgrade and upgrade people accordingly. We talked about what happens when you outgrow your friends and why it's okay to outgrow friends sometimes, because you don't want to find yourself in a situation that you can't get yourself out of, all because of the people who were around you. And the beauty and the blessing of having lifelong friends and why it's such a beautiful thing. And if you do have a friend like that in your life, if somebody came to mind while I was telling that story, call them and tell them you love them. Send them a text and just let them know that you're blessed to have them in your life. Now, the last thing, of course, is the wealthy way. So every episode, I want to end by doing a segment called The Wealthy Way. That is where I share something that I'm going to do in order to have a wealthy mindset. The wealthy mindset is just about being healthy, being strong, being your best self, putting your best foot forward at all times, and just a way for us to end the podcast on a good note. So my wealthy way for friendship is going to be to do a better job of checking in with my friends who are important to me, because again, I do have a habit of self-isolating at times, and I know it's not healthy. And sometimes I get so busy and just caught up in like the hustle and bustle of life that I don't always do the best job of telling people that I love them and telling people that they're important to me and how much they mean to me. And I really want to do a better job of that. So that is what I intend to do. And that is my wealthy way for this episode. And that wraps up our friendship discussion. So thank you guys so much for tuning into the SoulFULL Circle podcast. I hope that you got something out of it. I hope that this conversation was nurturing and enriching to you and left you feeling full. And I look forward to talking to you next time. Take care, guys.